Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to paint a watercolor penguin. So today I'm just going to show you how I paint in my penguin and give it a nice background. If you want to sketch out the same penguin, I'm going to have details and descriptions to that over on my blog. I will have the link in the description box below. I will also have over there a still picture of just my sketch, so you can just look at it and draw it if you are comfortable doing that. So I have my paints ready, I have my color palette already, my 2 cups of water, my paper towel, and we are ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to fill in my penguin with Payne's Gray paint. I'm just going to be doing this outside area with the Payne's Gray. And the inside is going to be basically white with a little bit of gray shadowing. You can add a little bit more water just so it doesn't dry too quickly at the tips. I'm going to be very careful around the beak to try to preserve it. You can use masking fluid to cover up the beak if you are afraid or don't have a really good tip on your brush to go around a small area like that. I have a video on masking fluid I can link in the description box below. If you don't know what that is or you don't know how to use it, I can link that down there so you can have a general idea. Just going to smooth out some edges right here. Just like that. And then while that area is wet, I'm going to go ahead and with the same color, I'm going to paint in his little feet. Alright, we're going to let this layer dry, and then we're going to move on to the center of our penguin. Alright, now that our outside layer of the penguin is dry, we are going to move on to painting on the inside of our penguin. So with this, it's going to be a lot more shadows and instead of complete filling in the color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to paint in the center of our penguin. So the difference with this area than this one is this is going to be just adding some shadows and leaving a lot of white space. So what we're going to do is you're going to just take some clean water on your brush and fill in the area around inside the penguin. You just want a very light gloss. You don't want this to be pooling in any areas. And try not to touch the actual painted part. You want to leave some space between that. So just like that. And then you're going to make a very light mixture of Payne's Gray and just kind of tap in that color, especially around the edges. And you just kind of see how it's blooming and blossoming into the penguin. It's not really a straight line. It's kind of just blending out into the water, which is exactly what you want it to do. And again, you don't want this to be too deep or detailed. You do not want sharp lines. So just like this, I'm gonna add a little bit more Payne's Gray right here to give little feathers. But you want it to be very, very subtle. And the best thing about going subtle is you can always come back with more paint later. Just like that. All right, and then we can move on while this is drying. We're gonna go to our burnt sienna paint mixture. And this one you want it to be pretty thick. And we're just gonna paint in its little beak. This is the only place we're gonna have this orangish brown color. So just a nice little triangle. I kind of curved mine at the end so it wasn't too pointed. All right, and we're gonna let that dry before we move on to our background and the ground. Now we're going to paint in our background. So to do this, I'm going to take my size 6 round brush, and I'm going to do the ground first before I do the sky. I'm going to go right behind its feet, and I'm filling this in with clean water. And we're going to do the same thing that we did with the tummy area. We don't want it to touch where we had previously put down paint. So just kind of loosely add water. Nothing has to be straight lines. Kind of want this just to be a very loose background. I don't want sharp edges. And so down here, it's going to give the appearance of snow. So we're going to do something similar to what we did with its tummy. We were just going to do a very light, lay down some very light layer of Payne's Gray. A little bit darker by the feet for the shadow area. And then I'm going to dry my brush off and just kind of smooth that out. Take a little bit more Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to literally tap my brush right underneath it. Just again to give more of that shadow. And then I'm cleaning and drying my brush. And then I'm blending that out. All right, and that is our ground. So again, we're gonna let this layer dry, and then we're gonna move on to our sky, and then we will be done. All right, and to finish off this painting, we are going to add a nice blue and purple sky. I want it to be very light. I don't want it to take away from my penguin. So we're gonna do like we did before with a bunch of our steps, and we're gonna add a clean layer of water all around our penguin, avoiding the areas that we have already painted on. And then what I'm gonna do, I've already mixed together a more navyish blue color, but it's still going to be lighter. It's not going to be a dark sky. And I'm just going to start tapping this in all around my penguin. All right, and I'm going to dry my brush, and I'm going to clean it and dry it again. And I'm just going to blend this out a little bit. And then I'm going to dry it off. And I'm just going to pull it around just a little bit more. I want it to have that jaggedy, edged line right here. I don't want it to become sharp. I want it to feel very loose. All right, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of purple to that mixture, just to give us some different color. Just gonna tap that in on the blue. And my background is still wet, so this works. If it has started to dry, you can add a layer of water over your blue to help reactivate the paint. And then I'm just blending this in. And blending it down the side, so again it doesn't look sharp at all. Just like that. And there you have a watercolor penguin. Alright, so last minute I decided that I'm going to add the penguin's wings coming more off his side. My original plan was just to have it blend in to his sides, but I'm just not really liking how it turned out. So I'm going to add that with just using Payne's Gray paint. I'm not even going to sketch it out, I'm just going to add it in this way. So start by just doing a longer oval off the side. And then fill it in with your Payne's Gray paint. And then we're going to repeat the same process on the other side. So I'm just going to make sure it's lined up. And then just so I don't have any weird lines, I'm going to come back in to my penguin and I'm just going to blend out a second coat of Payne's Gray. Okay, and just like that, it is complete. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed painting this watercolor penguin with me today. If you'd like any extra details on this tutorial as well as the supplies and paint colors that I used, head over to my blog, reflectingcreation.com. I will have a link in the description box below. Before you go, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I hope to see you back on my channel soon. Bye!